Hey guys, it's Harleywood. If you've been watching the channel for, I guess, a year, maybe a little bit more, you've probably seen several AR platformed rifles on the channel. This one is my Rebel Arms 5.56 build. You haven't seen this in detail. You have seen it in some footage when I tested this scope and maybe just a lot of Instagram posts, but I haven't gone into great detail. I have 7 AR platform style rifles, from 22 long rifle, 223 5.56, 300 blackout, 458 SOCOM, and even the CMMG Guard in 45 ACP. I've spent a lot of money on my ARs, getting them to certain levels of aesthetics that I like, certain build qualities that I like, and optics. I mean, I spend a lot of money on these things. And I'm going to be very honest, one of the things that I have not spent a lot of money on is kind of the heart of the platforms, the bolt carrier group. The only one that I had previously spent a lot of money on was my Landtac BCG on my SBR. It's my Battle Arms SBR that I built. I did a series on it a few years ago. I recently also bought this Sharps XPB, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail on that here in a moment. But I've kind of come to the realization that I'm putting a lot of money into these things, and I don't really have one of those, go to war, feel totally secure in its ability to not fail kind of setups. So that's what I've been building, and it starts right there. So nothing wrong necessarily with your standard mil-spec BCGs, but I kind of wanted to take it to that ultimate level of security, and here we are. As you saw in a lot of the intro footage, I have done some shooting with this. I'm going to put some footage at the end of this video also. I didn't want to bore you with just 1,000 rounds of this thing popping off. So I actually have just under 1,000 rounds on it. My hope was to get to that, and we got rained out on our last range day. So we have somewhere in the 925 to 950, somewhere in their range. I didn't quite hit the 1,000 that I wanted to before this review. Let's pull it out, clean it up, and I'm going to go over some of what makes this what a lot of people call the toughest bolt carrier group on the market. Alright, this bolt carrier group here is made out of 9310 steel, and that's pretty common for bolt carrier groups. It's an alloy steel. The tensile strength on a steel like this is about anywhere from 120 to 160,000 pounds per square inch, and the hardness rating on them is usually about 60 on an HRC scale. This guy here is made out of S7 tool steel. To put that in perspective, the tensile strength on this is up to 235,000 pounds per square inch, and the Rockwell hardness is over 90. So quite a bit more strength on this guy. Now you would think that that would add extra weight, but it does not. With all of these relief cuts, this is actually lighter than that one there. How's that shot? You actually get to see my deer right there. Alright, here is the standard mil-spec bolt carrier. It's going to come in at 11.5. And here's the Sharps bolt carrier, 11.1. So even with that harder, tougher steel, it comes in at a lighter weight. On your standard bolt carrier, your hardest steel is typically in your bolt. Sometimes the extractor and the pin there, but typically just the bolt itself, and the carrier is usually a weaker steel. On this guy, they use that S7 tool steel on the carrier, the extractor, the bolt, as well as the pin there. Gas key is a 4130 steel. It does have grade 8 fasteners on there, and they are staked. Okay, your cam pin is a 4340 steel, and everything else is pretty mil-spec. Your retainer pin there, your firing pin, all pretty mil-spec at that point. Alright, so these are batch MPI and HPT tested, and they have batch tested these also up to 20,000 rounds with no structural failures, and by that I mean the actual core components. Now, you may have extractors fail, springs, and things like that within that 20,000 rounds, but they have not had any catastrophic failures to the steel integrity itself. So that's why that hardness and that tensile strength and those things that I outlined for you earlier are so important. In terms of the wear, you can see some of the finish wearing off here. Nothing huge. You can see some wear marks there, just where it's riding inside the upper here, your typical wear points, nothing major. And this is honestly a bolt carrier that I've kind of abused, run dry quite a bit. This guy, after 1,000 rounds, now I'm going to admit I did lube the hell out of this thing, but is showing very little signs of wear. On the bottom here's my land tack, and this one is nickel boron coated. Alright, the Sharps bolt carrier is DLC coated, diamond-like coating. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't know a lot of difference between the two of these, so I had to do a little bit of research. Now they talk about a coefficient of friction. You'll see it called the COF. And it's on a scale of 0 to just over 1, I believe. The coefficient of friction on nickel boron is typically 0.07. Okay, so it's, and even when I first got this out of the box, it felt like it had oil on it. I mean, it flat out, it felt oily, and it still does today. It still feels oily, but even when it's completely dry, this feels lubricated. It's a very, very slippery surface. The diamond-like coating has a coefficient of friction of 0.04. It's got almost half the COF value. On the bottom, we have your standard mil-spec bolt. Notice these squared lugs. And on the Sharps Relia bolt, you may have noticed this earlier, look at the scalloping on the lugs there. Alright, when this goes into your barrel extension and locks in place, the lockup happens at the rear of all of these locking lugs. Alright, so that's the important part. The front of it here is scalloped off so that if you do have an excessive round count, you have a lot of carbon buildup maybe inside of that barrel extension, that it's a little more forgiving and will allow for that lockup to take place even if it's dirty inside of that barrel extension. Depending on where you shop, your standard bolt carrier is going to cost you anywhere from $89, you know, for a fairly cheap one, you know, up into the low hundreds. This Landtac BCG cost, I believe at the time I bought it, $279, something like that, and I don't think it's moved much in price. Now granted, it's a really good bolt carrier, but you're going to pay for that one. This guy with the Relia bolt, the upgraded steel, the doubled coefficient of friction value, or excuse me, half the coefficient of friction value, is, depending on where you shop, anywhere from 165 to, I've seen some people sell it for, you know, 220, 230 because they're just being stupid, but you can find it cheaper if you shop around. I'm going to post some links in the description below where you can get this. I have to follow my own advice now. I still have 5 other ARs that have, you know, a standard bolt carrier, and I probably don't need something like this in all of them, but if this is $100 and this is $160, it's probably well worth it to spend a little bit of extra money for that added security. I mean, just this thing, the build quality on it is beautiful. The reliability makes me feel much, much better, especially if I have a rifle that I'm building for my SHTF or kind of, you know, go-to-war rifle. So anyway, that is the Sharps XPB. Sorry, it's a lot of acronyms to throw around. COF, XPB, MPI, HPT, LMNOP. I'll post a link in the description below where you can get it. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit that subscribe button below. We've got lots more videos to come, and we'll see you on the next one.